You just press the button.
I think it's kind of a no-brainer.
This is a real button.
Let me talk about electric cars. You have a stake in BYD, the Chinese electric car maker, but Elon Musk, who runs Tesla, is considered a visionary. But he goes from cars to SpaceX. And over the weekend, SpaceX announced it believes it can get its Dragon capsule to land on Mars by the year 2018. Do you see that happening, Bill?
Well, Elon's a Mars optimist, and that's a great example of that. The fact that private sector companies are driving this stuff is a great phenomena. Jeff Bezos has Blue Origin that's pushing in this direction. I'm not that big on this whole Mars thing, but a lot of the successful tech peoples are putting their money into that area.
If he makes it happen, would you consider going in your lifetime, Bill?
No, Mars is pretty far away, and that has no deep fascination for me.
How about a one-way ticket for you, Warren?
Council Bluffs, Iowa, which is across the river, is a big deal as far as I'm concerned.
That's as far as you're going.
Absolutely.
Well, he's working on Mars. You're working to cure problems and ills on this planet, like cancer and poverty. Which comes first, Elon Musk landing on Mars or the eradication of poverty, Bill? Well,
fortunately, we can do these things in parallel. And there are some great milestones. The polio is down to very few cases, so the last case will probably be this year or next. Then we have to go 3 years before we get fully certified as having eradicated polio. And now we're starting on malaria. So my equivalent of Mars is eradicating diseases, and I got to tell you, it's super exciting stuff.
If I'd been an American Express, I would have made the opposite decision.
Why?
I think Costco is so powerful that being the only credit card provider in Costco is so valuable that they should have thrown away their rule book. But that's just my opinion.
We also talked a bit about IBM, and there were some shareholder questions that came in over the weekend about shares of IBM, particularly since the shares are now trading at about $145 versus a cost basis of around just under $170 that came into this. You made some comments a few months ago that you're not quite sure what to think about that IBM investment.
Well, I'm not sure how it's going to come out, but of course I like the fact they're doing it. And any kind of artificial intelligence is very much in the vogue. It may well work. It's just I have no way of predicting.
Do you think Warren does?
No.
You can take that to the bank.
When you talk about artificial intelligence, you're talking about Watson in particular?
I don't think we're paying much for the opportunity.
The opportunity to be in shares of IBM?
I think that there's not much optimism baked into the current price of the shares.
What is it that you like about the artificial intelligence there? I'm guessing Watson?
I like the idea of using artificial intelligence because we're so short of the real thing.
Bill, you've spent some time working on artificial intelligence and taking a look at some of these things. What do you think is interesting in this arena? Where do you think we run into potential problems? Because you've also said that you think it could be a real issue for humanity if things get out of control.
Well, in the even 10 to 20 year time frame, artificial intelligence is going to be extremely helpful. And the risk that it gets super smart, that's way out in the future and probably worth talking about. But now what we're seeing is that for the first time, computers can see as well as humans. That's pretty incredible. If you combine that with the ability to have arm-like manipulation, then they can make us far more productive, but then the job market has to adjust to that. Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft are all moving ahead at a great speed in improving this artificial intelligence software. So it's very exciting, and the speed is faster than it was 5 years ago.
Where would be the one area that you think stands to have the most promise for this? I mean, are you thinking the productivity in the labor force like you thought? Are you thinking driverless cars? Are you thinking advances in health and technology, or in health and science? Where would you think the real promise lies?
Well, one area is what we call agents, where if you're seeking knowledge, you can talk in natural language to an expert agent, and it will do as well as a human would giving you information. A specific example of that is have the software help you figure out what's important. Today we're kind of slaves to our computer where we have to decide to go to email or Twitter or text, and we're the one weighing which might be more important. Software is going to solve that, where it'll look at all the new information and present to you, knowing about your interests, what would be most valuable. So making us more efficient, what I call the alter ego software, will be a huge help.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here and click on all the videos around me or the eye right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to this special edition of Squawk Box. We are live in Omaha, Nebraska with Warren Buffett, the chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. And Warren, we've talked about a lot of issues this morning, but we haven't touched on some of the new investments that came in. And I'm thinking specifically of Kinder Morgan. Berkshire now, as of the fourth quarter, had a $396 million stake. Yeah. I was a little surprised by that because when we've talked about oil investments in the past, you haven't been that enthralled with most of them overall. This is a pipeline investment.
Yeah, well, I was a little surprised, too. We have two fellows who each manage about $9 billion for us. I look at their holdings once a month, but they don't have to check with me about, they don't at all. So they run two portfolios. They get paid based on how those portfolios behave. I've never told them to buy anything or sell anything. So that was the decision of one of those two. And
was it Todd or Ted?
Well, I don't think I'll tell as to which one is doing what, but I think when you see a position of that size, it's probably theirs, because I'm not going to do anything, in all likelihood, that doesn't involve, at least potentially involve, a few billion. Now that could have been the start of something and I was going to buy more, but that's not the case with Kinder Morgan.
You were involved, though, in the additional purchases of Phillips 66?
Right.
So at this point, you had a 14.2%.
Many billions. That's me.
What is it that you like about Phillips 66?
Well, I won't get in the business of touting stocks, but obviously I like the business, or I wouldn't have bought it. But I'm not recommending anything to anybody else.
Okay. It
is important. Some people say that is a reflection of how I feel about oil. Yeah, oil refining is much different than oil production. They're two entirely different businesses. I mean, they have a little connection in a certain way, but a decision on oil refining or a decision on going in the oil production business, they're night and day.
Because? Well,
because in the oil production business, it all depends on the price of oil, whether you're going to make money in the future. And in the refining business, it all depends on what's called the crack spread, which is just basically what it costs you to buy oil and sell it. And you can make just as much money or more with $30 oil as with $100 oil, but not if you're a producer.
So you like the crack spread right now?
Well, no, it's not so good right now. It was better last year. What really helps in the oil refining business is when somebody shuts down. For example, the Whiting, Indiana refinery, which is a big one, shut down last year for a while, and that helps the spread. Because oil refining generally operates in the 90+% of capacity operation. So anytime somebody gets knocked out, either there's planned outages, but then there's also unexpected outages. And if you're in the oil refining business, you're hoping that the utilization is very up there in the high 90s.
Mm-hmm. There's been a battle in the energy field in which Bloomberg Businessweek put you on the cover with Elon Musk, the two of you kind of battling and fighting over this. Him with Solar City and you with NV Energy, Nevada Energy, saying that this is a situation where billionaires are fighting over this, and it generated a lot of questions from viewers. I'll give you one that came up from Maricela Giordano, says, why is your company, Nevada Energy, trying so hard to stop people from converting to solar power in Las Vegas? Another similar question that came from Mike Wood says, Berkshire's been a leader in solar investment. Why are you preventing or deterring net metering in Nevada? You want to explain that to people?
We're the leading. Oh, we don't have a problem with net meters, and we're the leading in renewables in the country among regulated utilities. The only thing is we do not want our million-plus customers that do not have solar to be buying solar at 10.5 cents when we can turn it out for them at 4.5 cents or buy it at 4.5 cents. So we do not want the non-solar customers, of whom there are over 1 million, to be subsidizing the 17,000 solar customers. Now, solar customers are subsidized through the federal government, as we are with our wind and solar operations ourselves. The reason that society believes in subsidizing solar and wind is because of damages to society that may result over decades from carbon emissions. And society has an interest in it. And subsidized by the federal government, society is, in effect, paying for it. I mean, the people who benefit the whole country. In Nevada, they had an arrangement for a very limited number of people, and the Public Utility Commission decides this. They had an arrangement where the utility had to pay way above market for solar produced by these 17,000 homes, and that.
For instance, if I have solar electricity that I'm producing, it's more than I need. I can sell it back to you, the
at
utility.
10.5 cents, when we could buy someplace else for 4.5 cents, or make it ourselves for 4.5 cents, and that costs the million-plus customers a price. And the Public Utility Commission, there's 3 utility commissioners. The Public Utility Commission decided that was unfair to the million-plus people who didn't have solar. And they said it's fine to sell it back, but sell it back at what it can be bought. Sell it back at market price.